Good morning, everybody. I just made a 10-minute video and then realized I hadn't turned my mic on. So, that's alright. I probably got a little bit too uh, heavy off bat. So, let me try that again. Maybe a little lighter this time. Okay, so we're starting in John chapter 5. Heavenly Father, please help me to father your word appropriately and accurately. And Jesus, please just reach whoever is watching these through these stories, through these words of yours. It really does help me to go through this, and I just hope that it's helping somebody else too. Yeah, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, John chapter 5, starting in verse 1 again. Sorry. Okay, so Jesus is over in Cana, and I looked at a map, and so there's Judea, and then inside of Judea there's the city of Jerusalem, and then you go north, and there's Samaria, where Jesus crossed through that well with the lady there, and then up here there's Galilee, and there's like a lake, and or well, it's a I would call it a lake, but they call it the Sea of Galilee, I think. So there's Galilee, there's a little lake, big lake. And then on the lake there's Cana, and then Capernaum, and they're like 20 miles from each other. Yeah. Oh, and then there's like Nazareth way off over here. So he's up in Cana, turns around, goes back to Jerusalem. After these things there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate, really dirty gate, bunch of animals come through there. Well, sheep. Farm animals are not clean. They are poopy. They step in it. They track it everywhere, and there are no such thing as a paved road during this time. Maybe in the city of Rome, I think they had like brick streets and stuff, but not here. Nope, this is all dirt. All dirt. Poopy, muddy dirt that they're walking through. There, over by this sheep gate, they're saying, is a pool, which is called in Hebrew or Aramaic Bethesda, having 5 porticos or 5 roofed colonnades. I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and it's basically what it sounds like. It's like a roof area with like pillars upholding the roof, but everything else is technically outside. So technically you're outside, but you're covered by a little roof. So there's 5 of these things. In these lay a multitude of those who were sick, blind, lame, and withered, or paralyzed. And this next verse, some versions take it out because it wasn't included in all the original copies, but I'm going to leave it in because it helps to give context to why these people are all here. So all these people were laying here, they're blind, lame, paralyzed, all this stuff. They're waiting for the moving of the waters. So there's this pool here, and they're waiting for the waters to move. Why would they do that? It says, "For an angel of the Lord went down at certain seasons into the pool and stirred up the water. Whoever then first, after the stirring up of the water, stepped in, was made well from whatever sickness with which he was afflicted." That was I feel like that was kind of choppy. Basically, there's the pool. If you're sick, every now and then The rumor has it that an angel comes down and stirs up the water. If you step into the water, the first person in gets healed from whatever they got, no matter what it is. And here in the scripture, it says an angel of the Lord did this, but we don't know for sure that that was what was happening, or if it's saying that's what they believed what was happening. I was always led to believe that that's what that meant, is that there might have been an angel doing this, but it's it's more like it's a rumor that that's what's going on. I think that's what's happening. And it says at certain seasons. I don't know what that means. I I genuinely have no idea, really. Um, but we're just gonna move past it, okay? Magic pool. You step in. If you're the first one in, you get healed. That's why all these people are sitting here. And a man was there who had been sick for 38 years. It says in the ESV version, one man was there who had been an invalid for 38 years. So this man couldn't really move around on his own. I think I think basically what they're saying is like he couldn't move his legs or something. So I love what The Chosen did with this because it doesn't really give like a super hardcore example of what the deal is, what his affliction is. But in The Chosen, they show him as like a little kid, and then he breaks his leg or something like that, or hits his spine or something like that, falling out of a tree, and then from that moment on, he basically has to crawl around on his hands everywhere, dragging his feet behind him, Ivar the Boneless style. And remember what I said, where he is? He's near the sheep gate. Everywhere it's a dirt road. You ever crawled on gravel? It hurts your hand. And he's been doing it for 38 years. And who knows how long he's been at this pool? He could have been there for 38 years. Who knows what town he grew up in? He could have crawled there. People walk around him. They're obsessed with ritually clean. Oh, I can't touch you. And they think if you've done something wrong or something sinful, then something bad is going to happen to you. It's karma. Not everything happens that way. Sometimes, yeah, you reap what you sow. But not everything bad that happens is because of something you did. You didn't bring everything upon yourself. It's pretty messed up to think that way. Again, yes, there are consequences. Again, yes, there are things that happen because of decisions you've made. Hurt and pain and suffering that comes from sin. But there is also an enemy of God who hates every single one of us. Every single one of us. And wants nothing other than to kill, steal, and destroy us. To kill us, to steal us from God, and to destroy us utterly and totally. So he does a bunch of stuff that really sucks. Sorry. So, This man's been here for 38 years, or he's been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be healed?" Jesus doesn't. He doesn't dance around the bush or whatever the beat around the bush, whatever the phrase is. He gets right to it. He says, "Hey, you want to be healed?" I can't imagine what he must have been going through in his mind right at that moment. He doesn't know Jesus. He doesn't know anything. Who knows if he's even heard the rumors of who Jesus is? The, the sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. And while I am going, another steps down before me." I love that episode in The Chosen where they do this. It really shows the emotion that this guy is going through. The somebody stepping down right in front of you. Everybody fighting and clawing to be the first to touch the water. And the water, maybe it does heal people. Maybe it does. I mean, obviously, the water is getting stirred up. Maybe it's a hot spring or something like that that bubbles every now and then. Who knows? Or maybe it really is an angel coming down and stirring up the waters and healing people. Who knows? Who knows? But that's not the point. The point is this man's been there for a long time. And no one's helping anybody else. All in it for themselves. Waiting and waiting and waiting. Strongest shall survive. The weakest wither away and perish. I bet you there's probably dead people here and nobody even cares. Beyond the idea that, ooh, don't touch him, he's dead. Ew. And no one's going in there to clean up the bodies. Guarantee you that. It smells bad enough already. What's another smell? And maybe that's dramatic. Maybe that's too much. But honestly, I wouldn't really put it past him. And this man's living there. I don't even know what he's possibly eating. And when a man says, "Do you want to be healed?" maybe he's thinking it's mockery. Maybe he's thinking he's sitting there looking at him, laying on the ground, going, "Man, you've been here a long time. How come you haven't got into the pool yet? Just just do better. Just fix yourself. Just a little more effort. Just try. Try harder." That's probably what he's thinking. And that's why he says, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up." Notice that he's saying, I can't do it. I need help from somebody else. I need someone else to put me into the pool. And while I am going, another steps down before me. He starts moving. He's on his hands, crawling. Someone steps right in front of him. He's probably been kicked in the face. He's probably been stepped on. He's probably had his fingers stepped on with dirty sandals that have walked on poop-covered dirt roads. He's filthy. Everything smells. He's chafed everywhere. He's alone. in a massive group of people, all suffering just the same as him, waiting and waiting for Bethesda to just give them the one thing they want. And Jesus says to him, "Get up, take up your bed, and walk." He's been laying on a mat, a little mat that you can like roll up. That's his bed that he's been sleeping on, living on for a long time. And again, he's an invalid. He can't walk. Where's he going to the bathroom? What does he have, a bucket? That bed is his whole life. Dirty. He's probably got bed sores. He's probably messed himself in that bed numerous times. And Jesus says, "Get up. Pick up your mat and walk." Jesus cut right through everything. He cut right past all the bull. He didn't tell him, "Well, you just got to do better and this, that, and the other thing. Well, if you pray this prayer." He knew his heart. He heard what he was saying without him actually saying it. He read between the lines. He knew his mind. He knew his heart. He said, "I need help. I need someone else to help me. And no one else is helping me. They step over me like I'm nothing." And Jesus says, "Get up. Pick up your bed and walk." And verse 9, at that and at once, or and immediately, the man was healed, and he took up his bed and walked. Immediately. It doesn't always happen in today's day and age. I wish it did more often. I really do. I don't know what kind of sensation that man felt. But when you're an invalid, there is a physical thing stopping you from being able to walk. This man's legs might have felt like they were on fire for a second. Who knows? All of his nerves and everything growing back. Who knows? Who knows? But he didn't sit there after hearing those words and say, "I can't." He got up. He picked up his bed. This dirty, filthy, nasty bed. Rolled it up and walked. The crazy thing is, it doesn't even say this man hugged Jesus. It didn't say he thanked him. It didn't say anything. This man was probably just so beyond excited to be able to walk again that he just started walking. He just picked a direction and went. I wish I could see that moment in real life. If I could go back in time, Superbook style, and just see this from around the corner, that would be just the coolest and most putrid smelling thing I've ever seen. But it would have been amazing. It would have been absolutely amazing to see this. He changed his life. 38 years. He's probably got muscle dystrophy in his legs. I think that's the right word. He's weak. He probably has very little use of his fingers because he's over here crawling. What's the best way to crawl? Is it this? No. Is it this? No. It's this. It's maybe some of this. Or maybe he's literally Ivar the Boneless style. You know? In which case he's probably got back problems now too. But Jesus says, be healed. Take up your bed and walk. He just says, get up. Just get up. It didn't say Jesus healed him, then said, get up. He says, get up. And immediately the man was healed. Maybe the guy did hear the rumors about Jesus as a man going around healing people, doing miracles. And maybe when he said, get up, he knew not who he was identity-wise, but who he was rumor-wise, and said, oh, he heals people. Oh my God, he's healing me. And then he pops up. Now, I don't understand exactly why Jesus said, take up your bed and walk. Maybe he was thinking like, clean up after yourself kind of thing. Don't leave this sitting here. That's pretty rude. Or maybe, I've heard a pastor say this before, that bed represented his old life. And he wanted Jesus to, and Jesus wanted this man to walk around with it, or walk away with it, so that people would see it and go, oh, that's a shocking sight. I mean, this is during a feast in Jerusalem, the holy city, the clean city. Bunch of people would see this and go, oh, dude, whoa. And they might piece it together exactly who he was, or, whatever. And they would see him carrying that, and they would go, why are you carrying that? And he would tell them the story. It serves as a reminder of where he came from, a reminder of where he's at. I have a teeny tiny scar on my hand. You can't even really see it. It's so small. I seriously don't even know if you can really see that. But I stabbed my hand one time on accident. I was whittling, and 24 minutes. Let me know in the comments if you want the whole story. But I was whittling across because I just wanted a cross in my room, and I started to rush, and I slipped, and the blade slid right in. I felt it hit my bone. and it severed a nerve. And it was really bad. I had stitches, and I couldn't feel my thumb anymore. The whole thing. Couldn't feel it. What I could feel was, because of wherever that nerve connects to other nerves up here, was anytime I would move my hand in any kind of way, shape, or form, searing, burning pain would shoot up my arm all the way. I couldn't even use my arm. Eventually, I started to protect my hand, and I started to basically hold my hand like this. Like this. And then even holding my hand straight, I couldn't do it. I had to clench like this and hold my thumb like this. So I'm doing this. Even if I went like this, burning, searing pain. If I did this, it's uncomfortable, but because this is still cocked, it's not horrible, but stretching it out like that, ow, ow, ow. But it was like this. I could barely get myself dressed. And I got a miraculous healing from that. The doctor said I should have not had any real major difference until maybe a year or two. And then maybe I would feel something in my thumb again. But a week later, I was carrying a stack of solid porcelain plates, 10 of them, with an open splayed hand, stitches still sticking out, feeling fine. I can feel my thumb, but this very tip, right where the nail corner is, if I press that, I can feel just the slightest, there it is right there, just the slightest pinch right in that spot. And I don't know if that's ever going to go away, but I kind of don't want it to, because it serves as a reminder of being stuck like this and fearing that my life was going to be dramatically different in a way I never thought I'd deal with, wrestling with that. And then, and now I am where I am. And it also helps me to remember, in times of trouble, where I am injured, where I am hurt, where I am dealing with something else, I've dang near broken both thumbs before. This same thumb, I bent it back all the way till it was flat. It made a huge popping noise and then bounced back. I couldn't use this hand for a month and a half. I was wearing like a brace thing. And I worked at a meat shop. I had to wrap things. Well, guess what? I learned how to do that with one hand real well. So that when I finally got use of this hand again, I was, doing it real quick and nice and everything. And this hand, I don't remember what I did to this one, but I busted this one too somehow. I think I just jammed it. I don't know. But I think that's what's going on with the mat. It serves as a reminder of where he came from. Now, it's not like he's going to carry that mat around for the rest of his life. He's probably going to get rid of it as soon as he possibly can. But he's carrying his mat under his arm instead of laying on it. What an amazing feeling that must be. He probably was squeezing that thing like, you don't own me anymore. I want to stop right there, but I'm going to go just a few more verses. Now, that day was the Sabbath. The Sabbath is basically their Sunday. The day of rest, you don't do any work. They created extra laws, like 100 or so extra laws or something like that, to not even go close to breaking the original 10 commandments. One of those commandments is keep the Sabbath holy. Don't do work. But they go too far. They go to the point where they're like, they can't even wipe their own butt. They can't cook. They can't pick up their mat. So the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to take up your bed." But he answered them, "The man who healed me, the man who healed me, that man said to me, 'Take up your bed and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who said to you, 'Take up your bed and walk'?" Now the man who had been healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had withdrawn, as there was a crowd in the place. And afterward Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you are well. Sin no more, that nothing worse may happen to you." The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who had healed him. And this was why the Jews were persecuting Jesus, because he was doing these things on the Sabbath. I'm going to stop right there. Jeez. Sorry, that's my ringtone, text tone thing. I got it as Arnold. Alright, so a few things right there. One, they ask him, "Why are you walking with your bed? You know that's breaking the law, right?" These people have no curiosity about why this filthy, withered-looking man is walking around town holding this dirty mat. They're only concerned with the fact that he is walking around carrying the mat, which is not breaking any commandment at all, but in their mind it is. And so they don't look at the man. They don't care. They're looking at what's going on. You know, why are you breaking the law? You're going to bring God's wrath down on us. Appearances. And the man, he goes, oh yeah, the man, he healed me. He told me to take up my bed and walk. If he tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I've been crippled for 38 years. He tells me to take up my bed, I'm going to take up my bed. I don't care what day it is. I don't care at all. It could be High Priest's birthday. I'm going to do what this guy says instead. And they ask him, "Well, who told you? Who told you to do that?" And they're also focusing in on, wait, it was somebody who just healed you? Well, that's work. How dare he heal you on Sabbath? Oh, these people. I get irritated at them, but I mean, I'm a person too. And so there's times where I make snap judgments about people, typically while driving. And I go, well, I've done the same thing, so I guess I shouldn't judge. But yeah. So they're focused not on the healing. They're not like, oh wow, you got healed. No, they're somebody did something for you on the Sabbath. How dare they? And the man doesn't know who it is. He just says, well, he healed me. But then, um, and Jesus, he walked away. He was like, yep, here you go. There's your healing. Bye. Peace. There was a crowd in the place. Jesus isn't trying to draw too much attention to himself. He just wanted to get this man right, and then fade into the background for a second. You know, he's not trying to make it a spectacle. I mean, the man's already enough of a spectacle, but the testimony speaks for itself. Jesus isn't out here going, everyone gather around. I am going to heal this man. Heal! Like, he's not doing all that. But afterward, Jesus found this guy in the temple, and he goes up to him, and he says, hey, people think that, you know, sin is like karma. You do one bad thing happens to you. And that's not exactly the case. We've already discussed that. But Jesus is saying, see that you are well, or see you are well. It actually says, behold, you have become well. When you say behold, that's what the actual translation is. Behold, that's like a a serious draw of attention. That is like the behold, except this is a more intimate and personal conversation, one on one. Jesus and the man, he says, really focus in on what I'm saying to you, sir. You have been made well after 38 years. Sin no more, so that nothing worse may happen to you. When God gives you a blessing and you spit in the face of it, you're setting yourself up for a really heavy downfall. And it's not always obvious. It's not always immediate. But there's a time, I don't remember exactly where, but there's a time where Jesus says um, something along the lines of, those who do well with little will be trusted with more, and those who don't do well with little will have less, or something to that effect. And I think Jesus is kind of saying something about that right now. Let me give you an example. You and your girlfriend get together, your boyfriend, girlfriend, or if you're a girl watching this, you get together and you're with your boyfriend. And the boyfriend cheats. Natural consequence of that, girlfriend leaves. Natural consequence of that, they're both devastated. Maybe the guy is racked with guilt. Maybe the girl thinks it's her fault somehow. Either way, there's suffering all around. And even if the guy doesn't feel guilt, even if he's just behaving like a piece of crap and doesn't see the problem, or doesn't really think he's done anything wrong, I don't know how you could possibly convince yourself of that, but that's going to extrapolate out into the rest of his life. Thinking that way, behaving that way, treating other people that way. No one's really going to trust him. It's going to damage his relationships all around him. And it's also going to damage the way that he sees himself. It's a domino effect. Jesus came to defeat sin, to separate us from sin. And so here he's saying, hey, you've got this wonderful blessing. Don't abuse it. If you abuse a blessing of God, nothing good will come of it. In fact, if you abuse a blessing of God, something worse than the situation you had before the blessing came will come. I think I might have mixed up what I was trying to say there, but I think you understand my meaning. If you get blessed with a child, don't abuse that child, so that child could grow to resent you and hate you. And then when you're old and gray and need help and need taken care of and want love and care and kindness and appreciation for all of the years that you changed their diapers and got them through school and fed them and worked their tail off, and they hate you, is that not worse of a feeling than it was before you had a child? You don't even have to necessarily abuse the child. Sometimes decisions we make in the moment thinking we're doing the right thing, but we didn't know the level of damage we were doing. And even sometimes when we see the level of damage we're doing, we go, well, it's too late now. So I'm going to just keep on this path. And the result ends up being the same. Now, nothing is really unfixable for Jesus. He can fix that situation. He can fix the cheating situation. He can fix this man who's been invalid for 38 years. But don't neglect the situation. Don't neglect the blessing. Don't abuse it. If you slack off at a new job that's really well paying, you could lose that job. And now you have to go back to the way you were living before, or settle for a worse job than you had before the one you came to this one at, because that job won't take you back because you left. It happens. It's a very natural and reoccurring thing that happens over and over and over again in our daily life, in regular life. You can point to 1,000 different examples, but what Jesus is saying here is specifically about sin. Do not sin. Now everybody does sin. This man, I guarantee you, he sinned again. But I think there's a little bit of a difference between a conscious sin, choosing to sin, and a sin by omission, a sin you do without realizing you're doing it, or you do it in the heat of the moment and you're like, ah, and then you repent. I think there's a major difference there. But with that, I'm going to end it. Right, I'm really excited for the next episode, but you're going to have to wait for that one. Right, bye, guys.